Hello and welcome to Hearing Your Future, the Coding Your Future podcast. My name is Duncan, I'm your host, and I'm on a mission to help you design, build, test and code your future in computing. In this podcast, we'll talk to current and former students of computer science to find out more about their journey from student to professional. What's their story? How are they coding their future? What obstacles have they faced and how did they overcome them? Finally, we ask our guests what advice they'd offer their former selves and fellow students, and where are they headed next. My guest today is Amish Shah. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science with industrial experience in 2023 when this episode was recorded. Welcome, Amish. Could you say a little bit about who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, so my name's Amish. I'm from Ashton, which is just outside Manchester. It's where the IKEA is, and I've just finished exams now.
You just finished exams, so you've actually had, I think you've just had a break and come back from.
Yeah, so I had like 2 or 3 weeks between exams.
So thanks for coming back in after your exams back to university. I wanted to capture some of what's happened in the last 4 years. So let's go back to the very beginning. Can you? Where did you decided to study computer science? Where did that come from, and why did you just decide to study computing?
So for me, it was actually in primary school. We had like a few weeks where we had another teacher come in, and she taught us Scratch.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool because you can like make games and animations with it. So after that, I carried on using it, and then I had some other primary school teachers which were like really supportive of it, and they helped me use other stuff and showed me other stuff as well.
Right.
And then I guess from there it was just like I liked making games on Scratch. And I'd find like tutorials as well online to like use programming languages.
So a bit of self-taught stuff that followed on from that.
Yeah, I guess so.
And did you did it follow on in secondary school? Did you have it as a GCSE and all that kind of thing?
I think so. For my year, they just added it as a GCSE.
Right.
So when I took that as one of my like optional GCSEs.
And the same for A-level as well? Do you do computer science A-level?
I think they also just said it for A-levels when I got to sixth form.
You were
so it was like
first
GCSE
first year to do it.
Yeah.
So primary school, right? So doing Scratch in primary school turned out to be something that
it was only a few
years,
but it got me there.
That's interesting. Okay. And then so you arrived here in 2019, and you had a relatively normal first year until the pandemic hit halfway through the first year.
Yeah.
Which must have been a bit of a shock.
It was a shock. It was kind of nice because I remember like being dreadful of some of the exams that were coming up. And it was like, oh great, they're gone.
So don't have to worry so much about exams.
Which was nice. Yeah.
And so you actually did an industrial experience here. Had you decided to do that before you came, or was it something you decided along the way?
I decided before I came to uni,
right,
that I wanted to do one. But I think I was like having a bit of a wobble in second year. Like, should I just do an internship or should I do a placement?
And that's quite an interesting sort of dilemma, I think, because there's advantages and disadvantages of both.
Because there are a lot of companies that offer just internships and not placements. So it's kind of like whichever you get is where you end up.
Yeah. Okay. So you got through your first year, you got through the pandemic, you started second year, and you're looking for placements.
Yes.
And I think this is probably the first time I got to know you a little bit, because I remember looking at your CV in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And one of the things I remember stood out in your CV was I think you'd done some open source stuff. You've done Discord bot, is that right?
Yes. So I actually started Discord.js, which is like a JavaScript library used to make Discord bots. So I started that in August 2015, and it was kind of just a...
So that was something in...
So we're talking in, I think, high school.
GCSE? No.
The year before GCSEs.
Right, wow. So you were doing that as a sort of
it was very bad then. It was kind of just like me playing around with JavaScript, and
that's how it starts, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
then that like thankfully carried on till... Well, it's still carrying on now. I stopped working on it in
I
think October 2021.
Right, you just handed it over to the community to take charge
Yeah.
of it. I mean, I guess are there lots of different Discord bots now where it's kind of, or is there one?
There's lots of different Discord bots and Discord libraries, but Discord.js is like the biggest one,
Right.
which I take like pride in. Like we have a lot of people that use it still.
And I mean, I remember that was one thing that really stood out in your CV. So was it something that you just did? Was it somebody encouraged you to do that, or did you just think, hey, I'll just go and write a bot and publish it online?
For me, I think so. I used to play like Minecraft with these like people online, and then we made a Discord group in like 2015,
right?
Instead of using Skype, and then one of them like did a Discord library in Ruby, and I thought that's cool, so I'll try to do it in JavaScript.
Right.
And then, I started to work on it in JavaScript, and then people started to use it. So then it was kind of like, oh wow, people are using my thing, and it's like motivation to keep.
Yeah, and you're getting feedback from users as to like what they want
really
from it.
Quick feedback.
And I mean, you knew to publish it on. How did you know to publish it on GitHub?
I think
someone say
I tried to use. I think I'd used GitHub before.
Right.
Like I used to do like other coding like projects, so then I'd always use GitHub to like upload everything to. But it was never like I never bother as much with how clean it was before.
Right.
But now because people are using it, it's like I had to learn.
Had to make it
like
work.
Properly use GitHub. I can't like force push or I have to put sensible commit messages as well.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that's really interesting because I think it's a great way to get involved in software development, involved in open source, but not so many students do it. So what would you advise people if they were interested in doing that kind of thing? How to get stuck in? Because it can be quite intimidating. Yeah. I mean, making your own thing from scratch is intimidating.
Yeah.
And or joining another project where there's just lots of people working on it, and it can be difficult to.
I'd say, so for me, I was quite lucky in that I made something and people came to me. So it's less intimidating for me. But I think, so there's Hacktoberfest, which happens every October, and when I think it's just where like, loads of open source projects put out issues that are good for people who are new to programming.
Right.
Like new to that project. So you can find those on GitHub, and that's a good way to like find new projects to work on. But also just, I don't know, if you use any open source code in any of your existing projects, there's always issues in an issue tracker that you can look at.
And just,
I think just start. It's easier said than done, but just
fixing a bug sounds trivial, but it's quite a good place to start. Is fix a bug in an open source software project.
And it takes, I guess, the first bug takes loads of time because you have to get used to their code base and how they do stuff. But it's a really good experience. I mean, after you've done one, it's easier to move on to other projects.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was at the beginning of second year. So you're looking at. So we're in lockdown. Yeah. You're starting a second year, which is quite a stressful year, and you're also looking for a job. Yes. So how did you go about navigating that? Because I guess you're applying to different companies and having some interviews and.
Yeah.
What were the main challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
So second year, first semester was like probably the hardest part of this entire degree. It was like a very stressful time. For me, I think it was like a case where I just put some time aside each week to apply to placements and stuff and internships. And then also a lot of them have early deadlines, so it's kind of a case of you kind of just have to prioritize that sometimes over uni.
Yeah.
And then catch up on uni afterwards.
So you block out a bit of your diary and say, right, Tuesday evenings between 6 and 8, I'm going to be doing job applications.
Yeah, or if I just get really bored with uni one day, okay, it's time to apply for jobs. But like to me, it felt worth it because it was like, that's what I want to do in the future anyway.
It was a motivator.
Yeah, it was like, this is what I want to be doing. So I might as well apply for jobs.
Yeah. And how did you get on with interviews and all of that kind of stuff? This is online technical interviews, but also behavioural style interviews as well.
So technical interviews, I think I prepped for using. I can't remember what it's called now. I think cracking recording interview. That was it.
Right.
Yeah. And then like HackerRank questions. behavioural, I hadn't really practiced. It was kind of just, I just turned up and the engineers were like, they were encouraging.
Yeah.
Like, they guided you in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then I think I also watched a few, like, the systems design interviews. We hadn't done that in uni or, like, that sort of content yet. Because it was...
What's a system design interview where you're designing a whole thing rather
yeah,
than
so
just
you have to put, like, loads of pieces of the whole working system together. So, like,
Right.
a database would be here and you'd have load balancers and stuff. So I think I watched YouTube videos for those.
Right.
And it was kind of just a case of, like, because I was too busy with uni to worry too much about these, like, interviews. I just do them.
Yeah.
And then hope it works well.
And learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Like, because a lot of the earlier ones you do make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then when you get, like, towards the end of your applications, you have a better idea of what you need to be doing.
Yeah. Actually, we jumped ahead there because you did I think, did you say you did a summer internship at the end of first year?
Yes, I did actually. So that was at Imago, the student software company. That was, I think, I saw one of the emails from you with, it was just advertising, like, student software engineering jobs at the uni. So I applied to that, and then I worked in a team of 3 others, and then Suzanne looked over us. So for that, we were working with a research group over summer, and that was, like, a really nice, I think it was, like, the purest view of, like, what we've learned at uni, at least while I've been here, like, applied to a job.
Right.
Because, like, there was an emphasis on looking at how agile works in the workplace, and then there was, like, loads of flexibility with what you wanted to work on.
Right. Okay. And I guess that helped. So that having that experience then helped in interviews because you can talk about when I was working at so and so, this happened.
Yeah. Like, the interviewers would ask about past experience, and then. Like, I always expected them to ask about Discord.js, because to me that was, like, the coolest part of my CV.
And did they?
Some of them did, but it was mainly just, like, Imago came up at that point.
Right.
And that was what they focused on. And yeah, Imago was, like, a really positive experience. I had, like, loads of good things to say about that.
So then how did you go about picking somewhere in your second year? So you got all this work in second year and trying to keep on top of that. How did you decide where to apply? And
so, like, since I was interested in becoming a software engineer, I had, like, this dream in my head where I wanted to, like, work in a really big tech company.
Right.
So that was where it started. Like, I applied to Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, and then, like, I didn't hear back from any of those, which was disheartening.
Kind of normal as well.
Yeah, it was kind of normal, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not worked out. So then I carried on applying, and then to get to Bloomberg, it was when, like, I was aware of Bloomberg as a company, but I never thought of applying there until my friend Kershish, she had applied there as well.
Right.
And then I was like, she told me to apply. I was like, oh, okay, guess I might as well. And then, yeah, luckily that one worked out, so I took that.
So you did. So once you finished your second year, you started at Bloomberg in London, but this was remote initially because we're still in lockdown at this point, are we?
Yeah. So it was kind of like I could go to the office, and some of my team would come into the office as well, but it wasn't enforced that people have to come into the office. Like, the team could, like, happily just work remotely for the entire time. But I chose to go in every day because I didn't like working remotely when I was there, because it was kind of like I was just sat in my flat and then what do I do all day? And it's a nice office as well. So
yeah, very nice office.
Yeah, because I'm not sure I'll have an office as nice as that again. But there are incentives to go to the office because there's stuff there and there's people there too.
And people you can learn from. I mean, I know you can learn from people online, but it's not quite the same as being sat next to somebody.
It's just having the option to just walk up to someone on your team and just ask them. That's really
so you
nice.
all, whenever the office was open, you generally went in, even if you didn't need to, just because that's the way that you prefer working.
I think I mostly went in. Yeah.
Okay. So you did what were you doing? What was your role and responsibilities at Bloomberg?
I was a software engineer on the Worksheets team. Worksheets is Bloomberg's version of Excel. So people who use Bloomberg Terminal, they have, like, securities or stocks they want to keep track of.
So let's backtrack a bit here.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Can you explain what a Bloomberg Terminal is?
Yeah. So Bloomberg Terminal is, like, Bloomberg's product for people who are interested in financial markets. So it gives them like access to like financial news and like loads of tools to help them track securities and stocks. And like Bloomberg TV as well, you get access to that.
It's a huge product.
It's really huge. It's
many
like,
moving parts.
And then, to access different parts, you have to remember different terminal functions.
Yeah.
So worksheets was just W, which was like, well, we have a one-letter acronym, so it's a cool product.
Right.
Yeah, so we had worksheets, and then my role there was my first like task there, I guess, was to like do some greenfield research of what worksheets would look like if you could have trees or graphs of data inside a spreadsheet, basically.
Rather than sort of tables and rows.
Yeah, so they had hierarchical, like relatively flat lists already, but I think the aim was like see what other teams wanted, see how other teams could benefit from like making graphs of data available to worksheets. I mean, the user can customize what they show on the worksheet.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then since I guess like we did all we could with that within I think by January or February, and then my team had also split into two at that point. So it was like my original mentor had been moved to the other team. So then I got reassigned a new mentor from like my team after the split, and then it switched to basically just doing sprint work with the rest of the team. Right. Which was fun.
And seeing, I mean, I guess part of that is then seeing stuff that you've built made it into the product.
Yeah, that was so. When I was doing sprint work, it was really cool to see. But I guess like the first thing I added that was big broke straight away, and that was like the most terrifying thing because it was like a Friday afternoon.
Right.
And I was just in my kitchen, I was cooking, and then I get loads of like notifications.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, what's happened? And then it only broken internally, so any developers at Bloomberg who were using it would have it broken, but it was still like, oh.
That's quite a lot of developers, right?
Yeah,
and
like
there's your reputation at stake a little bit.
Yeah,
in that you don't want to be the one who's, oh no.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing, but I think it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was if you clicked anywhere on a worksheet but wasn't a cell, it just crashed.
Right.
Which was, I just never considered that would be an option.
Yeah. These things happen.
Yeah. And then by the end of it, I got a feature out which I was like really proud of. It was hyperlinks inside worksheets. So that gives like people loads of flexibility with making their worksheets interactive. So you could actually have hyperlinks to functions in the terminal as well.
Right.
To launch other terminal commands. And that got released just before I left.
Right.
Which was, it was cool for me to see.
Yeah.
And then, like get metrics for as well.
Because then the people, I mean, how many users of the Bloomberg terminal are there?
A lot. I think worksheets itself has like 250,000.
Right. And all over the world as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, must be quite gratifying to see something.
Yeah, it's really cool because like we had, I think it was 2 weeks before I finished, and we added metrics to see how they were being used, and it was being adopted fairly quickly, I think. And then we have templates of worksheets that people curate, and then we were reaching out to people to add hyperlinks to their worksheets too.
Then do you have to? So there's somebody in charge of the product, I guess.
Yes.
Do they then tell people about this new feature, or is it? How do users know this new feature exists?
So, I think our product manager had left at this time, and then we had a new one take over.
Right.
I think he came in towards, like, while cell links were being worked on.
Right.
So it's a case of, if we know teams within Bloomberg ourselves, we also contribute. But otherwise, the product owner would like reach out to teams themselves.
Right.
And then I'm not sure if I'm assuming we've done this, but like we have a little tutorial. What's it? A tutorial window whenever you open worksheets.
Right.
With new stuff.
Right.
So I'm assuming like cell hyperlinks would have made it.
It would have come up as a thing. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So you spent your 12 months at Bloomberg in London, and then you come back to Manchester for your final year in 2022 last year.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about, so what did you do as a project? What was your final year project on?
Yes, so I applied, so it was actually on placement where there was like a past talk about picking your supervisor and project.
Right.
And then one of my friends told me that Reza had an early deadline, and I really wanted to have Reza as a supervisor because I remember in second year
you did have a course.
Yeah, it was on Intro to AI.
Right.
And then in first semester, like a lot of it was tough, but like Reza would always reply quickly, and like give good advice. So I
Right.
knew that I wanted to have Reza as a supervisor. So then I was like at work at my desk, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to start thinking now because I have like 3 days to propose something. So I came up with a proposal that I emailed Reza, and my initial proposal was something like tracking the sentiment against music artists on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
and seeing if that impacts their like streaming performance or radio performance.
Right.
So if like the public hates someone on a particular day, does that lose money for them? So then that was accepted, and then when I got to uni, I kind of was like, okay, I can't do this because it's really hard to, like, the Twitter language that's used by people is just very confusing, and like it carries on into other messages too.
You can't tell the sentiment
From just a single tweet,
just from yeah.
because a lot of it builds on other people's tweets too.
Right. Okay.
And just the language they use, it just, even sometimes when I look at them, I'm not sure what you're even trying to say.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I train anything to do that. So yeah, I transitioned the project to basically picking out names and linking them to Wikipedia of like pop culture entities. So like names of people, films, songs, award shows.
Right.
And then like making a little dashboard to view that stuff. So you can see, I don't know, like which two entities co-occur most often. Like it's kind of not useless data, but it's kind of just like silly.
Interesting.
Data.
Like a just an exploratory thing.
Yeah, it's very niche.
Right.
But it was still cool to me to be able to grab all that data from like 90,000 tweets.
Were you affected by all the Twitter APIs
I've
changing and being
really
turned off?
So like, one of the first things I did when I started working on projects was just downloading all the tweets I needed.
Right.
And when I found it, like as soon as Elon took over, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if this affects my project, but I have the tweets, so like, I'm sure it's not that bad. But I did consider it for a few days.
Right.
I mean, I had my tweets, so I was fine.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Got your data.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they do. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. So that was final year. So then you've just finished exams. What comes next? What plans for the future?
So I'm going to join Palantir in September.
Right.
As a software engineer. I do not know what my actual team will be yet, but
so they have. I mean, they operate in different markets, don't they? So there's a kind of healthcare part of it, and
yes.
there's the other stuff they do, other public sector stuff they do. You don't know yet what.
No, I have no idea.
It's kind of.
But I think it sounded to me that I'd be working on like their core product and not like when they specialize their products for other industries.
Yeah.
Palantir Foundry, I think. So
Yes.
I'll be working on that.
So what is Palantir Foundry?
Palantir Foundry is, well, I think it's just a data analytics platform. So you can
sucks in data from all sorts
you
of.
throw your data in, and then you can basically explore your data, and it helps you make decisions from the data you've given it.
Because I think they have had it in hackathons in the past, haven't they? Where they open it up and say, right, here's you can have access to the Foundry product.
So I think they had it in
play with it.
Great Uni Hack this year,
Right.
But I didn't go to that. So yeah, I just for me it was like while I was at Bloomberg, people were talking about Palantir, like the other interns.
Right.
So that's how I came to find out.
Okay.
About it.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. How do you go about choosing? I mean, I think so. One of the difficult things is it's quite easy to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
The bewildering thing is picking the right one for you.
Yeah.
So how did you go about selecting? Making that choice between even when you've got experience, it makes it a little bit easier, but there's still a sort of bewildering array of places that you could go. So how did you choose?
For me, it was. So I'd done the year at Bloomberg, and like it was good, but I wanted to try something new.
Right.
So I knew that maybe like after I graduate, I'd probably want to try a different company.
I guess you knew location, so you were thinking London.
So I'd lived in London for a year at that point, so I was like, okay, I'm happy to live in London for a bit. And then also like looking at Glassdoor reviews of the company to see what other people say, because it's truthful.
Yes, yeah.
And I think it's good to know what people think of the place they work at before
Yeah.
you join.
It's probably better than if you look at the marketing sometimes doesn't always match up to the reality of what's actually happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But Glassdoor is pretty honest most of the time.
Yeah, it's brutally honest.
You have to, because you can't, if you post a review, you have to, it's not anonymous, is it? You have to have somehow say, I work there.
I think so.
So you don't have to sort of blatantly lie. Oh, not that stops people online, but I think
I just don't think people would go to that much effort.
No, there seems to be mechanisms for filtering out fake reviews of companies saying, "Yeah, this is a really great place to work. I really love it," and it's actually the PR department of the. That doesn't seem to happen, as far as I know.
No. Yes, so it's Glassdoor and word of mouth from other people.
Yeah, I think that's obviously important. So yeah.
I mean, also like when Palantir came to uni, like the careers fair.
Right.
When they did their demos and stuff, I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. Like, I've not seen a product like that before. And I kind of got it more than I got Bloomberg, because I don't really have that much of an interest in finance. So a lot of the stuff that happened at Bloomberg went over my head. Whereas, like, when I saw this, it's just like, oh, it's data from different sectors. And I get that.
You can understand it.
Yeah, I can understand it without.
I mean, I think finance can be a bit overwhelming in that it's a sort of whole different language.
Learn a different, entirely different, language, I guess,
and understand what your users are doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah, having to understand that when you don't understand, it's just not fun.
No, I mean a lot of sectors are like that, but it does seem to be particularly intense. I think in finance, in that there's this whole language that they talk. That
like even some of the internal stuff had businessy language in.
Yeah.
So you did have to have some understanding, I think, to work there.
You know what a security is.
I do now. I did not when I joined. I had to ask someone on the team.
What's a security?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's covered everything in the degree. So that's covered your journey from being a student to where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a few other questions here at the end to round things off. We've got one tune, one podcast, one book, one film. So can you recommend a tune to add to our coders playlist? Something that's important to you.
I listened to it on the bus here today.
Right.
It's called Back in My Body by Maggie Rogers.
Right.
I feel like it's nice to listen to on a rainy day, but it's kind of just, I don't know, when you're not feeling yourself and when you get back to feeling yourself.
It's a comforting song.
Yeah, it's a very comforting song. Like, okay, I'm back to being great. Podcast?
You don't do podcasts?
No, I was going to suggest this podcast, because I have listened to this podcast in preparation for this.
That's too self-referential.
So, I don't think I can suggest that.
No, it's kind of interesting. Some people do, some people don't. So we'll skip one podcast and we'll move on to one book. One book that you'd recommend.
So I'm reading it now, and it's called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. And it's about this family that have immigrated to America.
Fiction, non-fiction?
I think it's non-fiction. It's kind of like the author has written it as a letter to his mum.
Right.
About basically the whole experience from moving from Vietnam to America. And like the struggles he's faced and the family's faced.
Right.
It's just a very emotional book.
Right.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Good. And then the last one is one film.
Oh, I really struggled with this one.
Could be something you've seen recently or something from a long time ago.
So I think this is the last film I watched with my mum, and it's called English of English.
English?
With English.
English of English.
So it's about an Indian family, and then they move to America, and the mum doesn't really speak English that well.
Right.
And it's kind of just exploring like how she struggles, she's made fun of, and then she kind of takes it upon herself to learn English.
Right.
And show that she is competent, I guess, and that people should respect her.
Right.
So I thought that was a nice, heartwarming film.
Uplifting film.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And then the last thing is time travel. So if you could, I've built a time travel machine for you, and if you could travel back in time to see yourself in first year, and some of your friends in first year, what advice would you give them about making the most out of their time at university? Because it goes by. I mean, 4 years is a long time, but it has.
Yeah, it's gone really quick. I think. So don't take first year as serious as you think you might have to. I guess when we were doing A levels, it was kind of you have to work really hard, and then
yeah.
You don't. When you get to uni, you don't really know what pace to keep going with. join lots of societies in first year, like make lots of different friends outside of your degree. And then I don't, like for first year, just kind of play around with it, see what you like at uni.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I see sometimes first years work very hard, which is good. I'm not denigrating working hard.
I just feel like it burns you out by the time you get to
Yes.
second year, and
Yeah.
and it's just not. I feel like having more fun experiences in first year makes second year a bit easier.
And in terms of getting all that stuff, is like first year's the best time to do it.
Yeah, like it's a lot harder to do that in second or third year. Like, there's not much time. There's not much time to do that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that's good advice. So, thank you, Amish, for joining us. And are you coming to graduation?
I am.
So
yes.
we'll see you at the graduation ceremony next month.
Yes,
and good luck with starting at Palantir in London. So you're moving back to London in the autumn.
Yeah, this time it's indefinitely now.
Right. Okay.
Instead of just like I'm coming back after.
So have you got a bit of time off in the summer?
Yes.
To relax.
Yes, I've got July and August.
Right. Okay. So.
And the rest of June. But.
Good. Yeah. Well, enjoy that. Make the most of the time off.
Yeah.
And good luck in the new job.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Hearing Your Future, the Coding Your Future podcast. You can find out more about this episode and all the other episodes, including full transcripts and show notes, at cdyf.me. That's Charlie Delta Yankee Foxtrot Mike Echo. You can also find us on all the major podcast platforms by searching for Coding Your Future. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you found something useful to help you start coding your future today.